All right, what is up, guys? So, give you a little bit of insight here. So, I want to work on a project. I'm an esports coach at a high school and starting to try and transform our program from just a game playing group to something where we're making content, working on our editing skills, working on presenting, talking, just all of it. So, I'm going to start this little, dynasty. It's going to be with a buddy of mine. We're going to call this, two guys, one league and started off the league. And so I was like, we can make this more. So I'm going to be Navy and I'm going to try and take this a whole different direction. So in this program, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my editing skills, showcase how we do this, how I play the game, but then also really utilize this as a teaching tool for my students. So that way they can start to be content makers, get some fun going into a class so we can eventually earn some credit, and maybe make some new friends online, something like that. So what I got here is I'm Navy. I've created my own playbook. I'll talk more about that in some future episodes as I explain my game style here. But as I'm looking through my roster, I am not a super deep team. However, I do have some speed in some unusual positions. I have a bunch of fullbacks. My quarterback is fantastic, even though he's a senior. And I'm going to try and build this for the long term. So this is going to be a fun little program for me to kind of develop while also trying to keep it authentic. So my game plan here is I'm going to come out with as much RPO triple option as I can. This is one of my favorite plays. I love this. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to flip it to the left because I can see that the left just looks a little bit more manageable than the other side. So the only problem with this formation is I'm utilizing a fullback because I'm Navy. I got like 6 fullbacks on the roster. I do not have a lot of talent in the running back room right now. Now, that's where I'm going to try and get eventually. So here we go. Like I said, I'm going with my triple option. I love this playbook. We'll go a deep dive later on. But anyway, a little gameplay for you. So I've created this to utilize the triple option, to utilize some kind of strategery, but then also throwing in some deep down the field passes where I can take advantage of users when I play my users, or in this case, just going against the CPU. So, at this time I'm playing Tulsa. They're not that special, but neither am I. So we're working through. This is my first time playing as Navy, even though I live in an area very close to where Navy is. So it is kind of cool doing this and being able to recruit and seeing some high schools and some areas that are close to me and that I have coached against in the past. So I think one thing that's cool about me in this new role as an esports coach is I used to be a traditional coach. I've coached high school lacrosse. I've coached high school football. I've had some kids go pretty far in the Division I world, and then I've even had some former colleagues go play professional football. So it's been a fun world. I love the game of football, but then again, as a 40-year-old, this is kind of my new thing where I've always played this game, but I'm kind of slowly starting to retire from actually playing pickup football, and we're going with this route. So I'm going to try and bring my expertise to this, have some fun. Bring in a buddy of mine that I've met through playing online college football leagues, and we're gonna make a little thing out of this. So hopefully this is something you're gonna enjoy, just something different, where I'm gonna rebuild a team, but I'm gonna explain all the little components as we rebuild Navy. Like I said, I'm gonna try and keep this as authentic as I can. So what I'm looking at here is I'm gonna be only taking high school players, but then I'm also only going to be looking at taking on transfer freshmen. That way, we follow along with the Navy's rules where you got to be there for 4 years. I'm not going to take these really good transfers and things like that. So anyway, getting back to the gameplay. So here I'm just struggling with defense. I'm starting to see that, my players, as you guys can see, I'm trying to take the lower flat and there's no one over top. So I'm starting to run into an issue where awareness is not my friend on defense. And so that's something I really got to build up, especially in the offseason when I get some training results. Just flood the awareness, make sure we can recognize what plays, and then also try and get some speed on this team. So I look at the roster for Navy. The fastest player on my team is my quarterback. I do have one receiver, I believe that's a 90, but he's a senior, and at this point I'm looking at this as a rebuild. So I'm trying to get some room for my younger guys to get some playing time. So like I said, so this is my first time playing as them. So you're going to see a lot of my seniors in, and then I'm going to work on my highlights for my next posting where I get the younger guys in. We get some speed out there. We try and get some traits being developed, try to earn some points, and then that way we can build them up. All right. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm just going rocket toss. I'm just trying to stretch them out, just trying to hit the sideline, and then eventually I can maybe start to utilize my fullback right up the middle. Okay, that's what we're seeing here. So I'm trying to make these reads, see what they're doing. If I can hit the outside, I can. My quarterback's fantastic. Like I said, he's probably the best one. But as you can see there, my fullback is he's an athlete. He's not exactly a true fullback. So even though he's fantastic in this game, he's not going to bull you over. So the next thing I start thinking is, well, let me try and find mismatches. So I go with plays like this, and that way I can identify right away they are in a zone. Right, they kept the guy on the left, even though I have no one on the left, which just opens me up downfield. Once again, can utilize my tight end. I can get big chunks of yardage, and then all of a sudden we're moving the ball. We are looking good. And that's kind of my MO here. So we're just going to hit flats, utilize the RPO, utilize triple option, and then every now and then just overload a side. So once again, this play, fantastic play. We overload the left. We're going to take that. Something I'm going to do next, I haven't done this game, but I'm going to do this next time, is I'm going to start to rotate in my personnel. I'm going to start to bring in some guys that I think can help me out, and really figure out how we can block some things and make everything kind of condensed, and that way I get more blockers on the edge, and we can just kind of roll from there. So like I said, we're going to talk strategy, we're going to talk personnel, we're going to make some adjustments based on what we have right now, and later on we'll get into some recruiting and see who's coming. I'm going to be very honest with you though, as Navy, as a first year coach at Navy, we're not looking super deep. We're not getting the top recruits just yet. So we're just going to take who wants to come at this point. Going to get a little more selective in the transfer portal because, once again, we're going to look for just the freshmen coming in. So hopefully we can find some speed, find some guys that can help make a difference for us. So it'll be a fun little thing here we're doing. Once again, trying to combine my talents of being a college football video game athlete. Been doing this since Xbox 360. So slowly making my own playbook. So when we get to this, I've had to read playbook for this program because it is 100% unique. We are not the same as what we are with my other teams I've played as. So we just don't have the speed, don't have the depth, don't have the awareness. But we're going to make this work. It's going to be fun. So, like I said, we're going into this. As you see, we got a little bit of a lead right now, but we're going to kind of stick it to them real quick. They just don't have an answer for my triple option game, even though Tulsa does run option as well. They just don't seem to know what they're doing right now. So when I look here, I'm seeing there's a gigantic hole right up the middle. We're just going to take that every time. Even when it gets like, third and some, we're just going to take what they give us. Okay, I think that's the big thing a lot of people in college football don't do, especially my high school kids. So we've had some college football, in school tournaments, and the games take forever because everyone just wants to pass. No one's taking advantage of the running game. So, we're trying to, open some eyes here, work on our content creation, just have some fun. So at my school, we are mostly involved with Playverse, an online high school e-gaming community, which is fantastic. We do a lot of Overwatch and Rocket League. There is no college football though, so we had to do that in-house, and we had a really good turnout. We had about 30 kids play that, and so a lot of neat stuff. Put it on our YouTube channel. Yeah, got classrooms involved, watching their peers play. It was a really cool program. We've seen some grades turn around. Just a lot of really neat things happening, just from the esports perspective. So, just wanted to share that with you. As you can see here, we're just kind of dominating. Nothing too crazy, though, because, like I said, I just don't have the athletes right now to take it downfield too much. So hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll be coming back to you. Hopefully I get my buddy who's in the league with me, because, once again, we're going to call this thing the two guys, one league little thing. Get some good conversations, talk about some fun things, develop some content, and just learn along the way. So talk to you guys soon.